Welcome to WeLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 9, Improving Quality of Performance Rating. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are Introduction, Types of Scales, Subjectivity and Errors in Rating, Behaviorally Anchored Rating Scale, Theoretical Consideration on Factors Affecting Appraisals, Reducing rater biases, performance rating for development versus administrative decisions. Now the first topic is introduction. The custom pass or fail results are upgraded to evaluation standards, and the evaluation of information has been substituted by the evaluation of capability. Efforts have been made to regulate subjective decisions, to create a set of performance measure, to deduce evaluation data from multiple sources, and to interchange the hunt for knowledge with expansion in action in a working atmosphere. Introduction of new evaluation tools such as the behaviorally anchored rating systems and their positive outcomes has had a system-wide effect on profession as well as business scenario as whole. The normally employed motto that evaluation forces learning through definitely true presents a quite bounded concept. It was thus advised that it should be swapped by a more effective saying, evaluation enlarges professional boundaries. Essential role of evaluation in exploiting multiple aspects of professionalism. Evaluation allows the key question to be asked and replied. It measures employee success to please external demand and offers data that can be employed to develop prospectus and to document success or failure. Evaluation can supply feedback and inspiration for continuous development of individuals, peer and advanced program developers. It is essential to be systematic in creating an application of evaluation to make sure that essential questions are replied and related needs are met. Next are the types of scale. The types of scale that are being followed by organizations across the world can be broadly classified as Relative Standard Evaluation System. Organizations employ the Relative Standard Performance method to grade employees with respect to one another. The most preferred is the straight grading process, where the overall work performance of an individual is compared to that of others. The employees are being graded based on their total work performance in descending order from most responsible to least responsible. Another famous process is the forced grading process, where an individual's performance is measured and then graded according to the percentages. According to this process, the top graded employees are remunerated and the bottom graded must cope up with the results. Absolute Standard Evaluation System. This evaluation system evaluates individuals under several criteria and rates accordingly. Employees are most compared with each other. For example, the graphic rating scale, which is the first absolute process, is generally employed by the organization. Managers employ this process to measure the abilities and success of the employees. Moreover, their way of communication, behavior, and consistency is also taken into account. A second process includes documenting the achievements, failing, and improvement as well as guidance requirement of the individual. The third one is the weighted checklist process, where records are preserved to display best and worst performance incidents. The superior consider the best and the worst indicator on the record and deduce an average rating of the individual. The fourth and the Last absolute standard is the critical process, which mainly concentrate on the upper and the lower altitudes of the individual's performance. Other advanced evaluation system. While several organizations persist to employ traditional appraisal method, others are using more advanced techniques. The behaviorally anchored rating scale process measures an individual's performance keeping in concern only the behavioral parameter mentioned on the rating scale. The management by objective process concentrate on establishing goals for individual, moreover assessing and praising them when achieving the established goal. The 360-degree appraisal process is an assessment based on the evaluation report of several unspecified employees in the organization and external customers. Next are the subjectivity and errors in rating. Subjectivity or biases tend to occur when the grading allotted by an evaluator to any individual is derived more from aspects rather than the presentational or behavioral manner exhibited by individual on the aspect under evaluation. The following are generally recorded events that add to errors and biases in evaluation, raising subjectivity. Sometimes evaluators accept or reject some particular act or attributes of the individual enormously and thus grade him or her confidently on all other measures, called halo effect. Some evaluators feel to believe that they should be fair to their appraisee and thus lean to assign them compensatory grade. This is known as leniency effect. The other evaluate might adopt a reverse theory while inspecting the appraisee and then lean to rate them too harshly. This is known as severity effect. Some evaluators assign nearly equal grades to their appraisee due to their conscious nature, that is, they lean to grade most of their appraisee around the average, that is known as central tendency and averaging. Comparatively, some evaluators make opinion about individual on account of their first impression and are likely to carry these feelings over a long period of time. This is known as first impression errors. Sometimes evaluators allocate grades on account of the current behavior they have noticed in their appraisee without recalling about the past deeds over a period of time. This is known as recency effect. Now, understanding these rating errors. First is the halo effect. The parity that an evaluator rates an employee on one parameter can contradict his or her notion of that individual on the other parameter. Stereotyping. The parity that an evaluator develops about a whole group can vary when compared with a single member of the group. Perception differences. The perceptiveness and previous incidents of an evaluator can influence his or her understanding of one's behavior. Next are the leniency or stringency error. When an evaluator does not have sufficient data to deduce an objective grading, he or she may manage by allotting grades that are thoroughly higher or lower. Scale shrinking. The end of the scale is not utilized by most of the judges. Next point is the behaviorally anchored rating scale. It is comparatively new system which unites the graphic rating scale and critical incident process. It contains determined key regions of work performance or group of behavior reports describing the requirement of essential work presentation qualities such as interpersonal bonds, flexibility, consistency and work understanding and so on. In this process, an individual's genuine work behavior is evaluated against expected behavior by accounting and measuring the behavior with BARS. Implementing and using BARS involves professional knowledge. Advantages. The advantages of this system are, first one is, grades are not simply subjected to different analysis of graders. Number 2, the approach is EEOC, that is Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, instruction for reasonable service practices. Each work principle for evaluation are derived of genuine work performance and are associated to it. Disadvantages. The disadvantages of BARS are involve inspectional ability and suitable prediction of unstable behavior. Lack of sufficiency can lead to ambiguous data. Recognition of crucial behavior consumes a lot of time and efforts, and documentation of data also require attentive and regular inspections. Less favorable due to resemblance to quality measures. Next are the theoretical consideration on factors affecting appraisals. A performance evaluation system makes a standard approach to evaluate how employees do their work. There are many aspects that force an evaluation system success grade, but these factors will assist employers to concentrate on individual success. Design. An organization must plan a performance evaluation system such that it maintains compatibility with the organizational structure. Individuals can provide input to the strategy and consider devoted to a new system. If implemented perfectly, manager would be able to provide feedback to employees under their own administration. If employees carry out high level of independent work or corresponds to those work groups, they would require a performance evaluation such as 360-degree appraisal that measure their actual performance. Next are trainings. Training is another decisive aspect that influences the efficiency of a performance evaluation process. A study included in the Absolute Guide to Performance Evaluation suggests that if manager will employ a grading scale to appraisee, they should be given training in how to measure performance, how to discuss what they evaluate, and how to give a feedback to the appraisee. If managers identify how to communicate the evaluation of individual performance throughout the working period, they would be proficient to grant subordinate accurate grades. Next are the employee development. Studies have proved that performance evaluation method concentrate on individual development rather than administrative goals and are much more efficient. Managers employ an evaluation system to guide employees with a partial feedback that will assist them in performing better at their respective places. The technique of preparing a feedback form is to fabricate it from the individual's key expertise area. Split these down into components and determine each through cautiously framed questions, which the individual answers, and likewise performance is graded. That is, give comment with respect to one concern in question. Hence, the factors we concluded were responsible for affecting the grades allotted by evaluators and thus influence the organizational structure to a great extent. Next is the reducing rater biases. Research used a quasi-tentative control group strategy in an organizational scenario to compute the impact of the grader training process on limiting common rater biases in an inter-organization peer assessment after holding for capability based on GPA. Evaluation of graded score of the analysis group by the administration group reflected minimum common style rating biases in the analysis group, while considerable bias was displayed in the administration group. The logical collection and evaluation of performance figure on an employee or a team is deduced from a determined number of evaluators in their performance. The collection of data is organized, that is, done in some logical way through aptitude tests or direct interviews. This systemizes people decision by reflecting the normal relation they have maintained with each other. There is both an analysis and a feedback process. Data is collected and then fed back to the employee in the transparent way, designed to promote understanding, acceptance, and ultimately changed behavior. The performance of either an employee or the group can be measured. The suppliers of the data are stakeholders in the individual's performance. Using statistical technique, the variation between a grader average calculation and the average calculation of all grades is called as the grader effect. If the grader effect is equal to 0, no logical bias appears in the score sheet. Due to some grading faults, such as those explained earlier, the grader effect is hardly 0. If all the evaluator grade each one being assessed, some grading error might not be difficult. That is, all of the participants receive equal advantage or consequences from the grader's lenience and ruggedness. The graders are not biased and none of them receive special treatment. Individuals evaluated by multiple set of different graders may obtain biased grades because they draw relatively liberal or comparatively rude evaluation. Various considerations could be taken into account to alter potentially biased grades provided by multiple set of different evaluators. Three statistical approaches discussed in the present atmosphere are: number 1, common least square failure, where the deduced grade is observed as the combination of the individual's true capability, a grader effect, and arbitrary error. Biased least square failure, where each grader feedback is biased by a measure of grader regulatory, and the last one is declaration of misplaced data, where actual figure is employed to compute scores of the individual that the grader missed to assess. Next is the performance rating for development versus administrative decisions. If the goal of the performance appraisal is in organization is organizational improvement, consider moving to the performance management system. Place the focus on what you really want to create in your organization: performance management and development. This way, the staff will feel better about participating, and the performance measurement system may even positively affect employee performance. Performance appraisal is a part of career development. The latest strategy being followed by organizations across the world is get paid according to what you contribute. The focus of the organization is turning to performance management and specifically to individual performance. Performance appraisal helps to rate the performance of the employee and evaluate their contribution toward the organizational goals. Performance appraisal is also closely linked to other HR processes like identifying the training and development needs, promotions, demotions, changes in the compensation, and so on. A feedback communicated in the positive manner goes a long way in motivating the employee and helps to identify individual career developmental plan. Based on the evaluation, employee can develop their career goals, achieve new levels of competencies, and plan their career progression. Performance appraisal encourages employees to improve their performance by working on the strength and overcoming the weaknesses. Performance rating for administrative decision. The most obvious purpose of the performance appraisal is the decision aid. Performance appraisal help in deciding who should be given a rise, promoted or terminated. Promotion decisions are not purely dependent on performance appraisal. They might depend on prediction of future performance as much as an evaluation of the past performance. Likewise, salary decision may depend on the market forces as much as they depend on the performance rating. However, the importance of having a good performance appraisal system cannot be underrated. The outcome of performance appraisal do play a very important role in most of the personal decisions of an organization. There are basically three ways by which performance appraisal evaluation form the basis of administrative decisions. In lead relationship, decisions are made on the basis of performance assessment. For example, an employee may receive a big hike in the salary because he or she has been continuously rated as a good performer. Here, we can assume that positive appraisals are the cause of subsequent administrative decision. In lag relationships, performance appraisals are filled out to be justify or strengthen decisions that have already been taken or to make it easier to execute a plan of action that has already been decided upon. Finally, in the third method, performance appraisal and decision can include both lead and lag elements. Now in the last, there are a few questions which are based on this session. Question number 1 is, what is the difference between performance management and performance evaluation? And the second one is, what are the causes of subjectivity and how does error in rating occur? That's all for this session. Thank you. Happy learning, relearning.